mais da wipoya ne arzen in no bas kastir man with mustard mais da wipoya ne arzen in no bas kastir man with mustard that we put out. There's that night that all of us guys do none with mustard. Well, with all thousand, thousand hours. Well, there's none extend to zero man, this is best. Men dignify, shining it. Now, I'm not near fights, Mr. Gun off against us. Mas that we play out. There's a night in the whole bus guys near none of mustard. Mas neither the salad of the shelter and state. Yeah, and on the sides but seven cameras. Oh, goose, there we scare Sarah, the bish back must. No, make us go for no manners, did I know.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Just my mic there for a second. Tonight is a little bit more somber. Tonight is a little bit more, we just want to worship God because of all that's going on in the nation. This isn't new, unfortunately. This is something that has happened, unfortunately, many times. And tonight, let's just worship. Let's worship God. Let's listen to some great songs that remind us that God is in power, that He's the one that is the ultimate judge. He's the one that's going to be the finisher. He's the one that's going to be the one that helps us to change these things. We just got to lift it up to Him. And so we're going to keep this going. We're going to do some worship tonight, but I also want to play some wise words by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. because, you know, growing up, I was under the impression that racism was over with. When I went to high school, my high school was a very big mixture of different races and backgrounds, so, you know, I rejoice at that. And to me, it just felt like racism was over with. We were moving on. And to see these things happening right now, it's just like, what's going on? You know, maybe because of my background, that is ignorance. Maybe I just wasn't aware that it was still going on. Whatever the case, tonight, let's listen to some worship songs. If you have a song request, comment on the chat there. We got the live chat going right now. Let me know what you want to hear. We're going to listen to some words from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as well. And let's just lift our cries, lift our prayers up to God tonight. If you want to talk about what's going on, throw that in the chat too. We're here for you tonight. And, you know, just like I said in the post earlier in Romans 12, you know, for our brothers and sisters in Christ, we rejoice when things are amazing. We rejoice with them. But when things are tough, when people are mourning, we mourn with them as well. So tonight, this is going to be a little bit more intimate, a little bit more somber. But let's lift our cries and our prayers up to God, and let's worship through songs that we know. I love y'all. DJKNKT here. Let's go.
Crucified to set me free. Now I live
Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still languished in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land. And so we've come here today to dramatize a shameful condition. In a sense, we've come to our nation's capital to cash a check. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check, a check which has come back marked insufficient funds. But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of opportunity of this nation. So we've come to cash this check, a check that will give us upon demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice.
Justin Smith, thank you for joining in tonight, man. I appreciate it. Love you, bro. Appreciate also anyone else tuning in right now. Just letting you know again, this is an interesting night tonight. If you have any worship songs, be sure and put them in the comments. We'll play them for you. And as I said before, we're going to listen to some Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as well, because I think it's needed. All right, y'all. Let's keep going with this worship. Justin, again, thank you for stopping in, man. I appreciate it.
This hallowed spot to remind America of the fierce urgency of now. This is no time to engage in the luxury of cooling off or to take the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time to make justice a reality for all of God's children. It would be fatal for the nation to overlook the urgency of the moment. This sweltering summit of the Negro's legitimate discontent will not pass until that is an invigorating autumn of freedom and equality. 1963 is not an end, but a beginning. Those who hope that the Negro needed to blow off steam and will now be content will have a rude awakening if the nation returns to business as usual. There will be neither rest nor tranquility in America until the Negro is granted his citizenship rights. The whirlwinds of revolt will continue to shake the foundations of our nation until the bright day of justice emerges. But that is something that I must say to my people who stand on the warm threshold which leads into the palace of justice. In the process of gaining our rightful place, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. We must fail to conduct our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creative protest to degenerate into physical violence. Again and again, we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. The marvelous new militancy which has engulfed the Negro community must not lead us to a distrust of all white people. For many of our white brothers, as evidenced by their presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny is not They have come to realize that their freedom is inextricably bound to our freedom. We cannot walk alone. As we walk, we must make the pledge that we shall always march ahead. We cannot turn back.
In the morning, when I rise, in the morning, when I rise, in the morning, when I rise, give me Jesus, give me Jesus, give me Jesus. You can have all this world, just give me Jesus. When I am alone, when I am alone, oh, when I am alone, give me Jesus, give me Jesus, give me Jesus. You can have all this world, just give me Jesus. Come to die, when I come to die, oh, when I come to die, give me Jesus, give me Jesus, give me Jesus. You can have all this world, just give me Jesus, give me Jesus, give me Jesus.
rights, when will you be satisfied? We can never be satisfied as long as the Negro is the victim of the unspeakable horrors of police brutality. We can never be satisfied. As long as our bodies heavy with the fatigue of travel, cannot gain lodging in the motels of the highways and the hotels of the city. We cannot be satisfied as long as a Negro in Mississippi cannot vote and a Negro in New York believes he has nothing for which to vote. No, we are not satisfied, and we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. I am not unmindful that some of you have come here out of great trials and tribulations. Some of you have come fresh from narrow jail cells. Some of you have come from areas where your quest for freedom left you battered by the storms of persecution and staggered by the winds of police brutality. You have been the veterans of creative suffering. Continue to work with the faith that unearned suffering is redemptive. Go back to Mississippi. Go back to Alabama. Go back to South Carolina. Go back to Georgia. Go back to Louisiana. Go back to the slums and ghettos of our northern cities, knowing that somehow this situation can and will be changed. Let us not wallow in the valley of despair. I say to you today, my friend, so even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition.
Heavenly Father, you always amaze me. Let your kingdom come in my world and in my life. Give me food I need to live through the day. And forgive me as I forgive the people that wrong me. Lead me far from temptation, deliver me from the evil one. I look out the window, the birds are composing, not a note is out of tune or out of place. I walk to the meadow and stare at the flowers, better dressed than any girl on her wedding day. So why should I worry? Why do I freak out? God knows what I need. You know what I need. Your love is, your love is, your love is strong. Your love is, your love is, your love is strong. Your love is, your love is, your love is strong. The kingdom of the heavens is now advancing.
Thank you, everybody that's joined into the chat, the convo. Cousin Lisa, thank you for that. Tyler, I see you. It's a pretty good quote right there. Let's keep worshiping God. Thank y'all for stopping in. Don't forget, if you want to hear a worship song, we'll play it for you. We still got some time left, and we'll finish up this wise speech from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Father, please heal this land. That's what we're asking for.
Two things you told me, that you are strong and you love me. Yes, you love me. Your love is, your love is, your love is strong. Your love is, your love is, your love is strong. Your love is, your love is, your love is strong. Your love is, your love is, your love is strong. Our God in heaven, hallowed be thy name above all names. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us weary sinners. Keep us far from all vices and deliver us from these prisons.
One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight. And the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is a faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning, "My country, tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And so let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and when this happens, when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, "Free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last."
This is an emergency, and there are tears from the saints for the lost and unsaved. We're crying for them, come back home. We're crying for them, come back home. And all your children will stretch out their hands and pick up the crippled man. Father, we will lead them home. Father, we will lead them home.
What's up, Brent? Thank you so much. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for joining in tonight. Let's not forget also, this is a request, so if y'all do want to hear some songs, hit me up with them. If not, we'll just keep on playing the tunes and finish out the night. Love y'all.
Reach out your hands, children. In Christ you stand, and sinner, reach out your hands. Children will stretch out their hands and pick up the crippled man. Father, we will every single day to meet you in this place and see you face to face. Will you show me? To me because of your mercy. I fall down on my knees and I can feel your presence here with me. Suddenly I'm lost within your beauty, caught up in the wonder of your touch. Here in this moment I surrender to your love.
storm comes, I am washed by the water. Even when the rain falls, even when the flood starts rising, even when the storm comes, I am washed by the water. Even when the earth crumbles under my feet, even when the ones I love turn around and crucify me, I won't ever, ever let you down. Won't fall as long as you're around me. Even when the rain falls, even when the flood starts rising, even when the storm comes, I am washed by the water. Even when the rain falls, even when the flood starts rising, even when the storm comes.
What's up, Jerry? I love me some Need to Breathe too. A great group of guys there. All right, y'all. DJKNKT here. Tonight, tonight's gonna get your boy crying. There is a lot going on in the nation, and our hearts go out to the family of George Floyd, to all of the others that were killed due to racism and violence. And this is the last song of the night. Thank y'all for joining in, and I appreciate y'all. I know tonight was, different, slower, everything else, but, we need that as well. Just like it says in Romans 12, we rejoice with those that rejoice, but we also mourn with those that mourn. And right now, this nation is in mourning because of what's going on. I think for our black brothers and sisters, for those of different nationalities, different ethnicities and everything, they need to see that we don't agree with this either. They need to see that this hurts us as much as it hurts them. Maybe not as much as it hurts them, but it does hurt us as well. And so thank y'all for joining in. Next week we'll try to bring it back up to tempo again, but thank y'all for joining in. Let's end on this song tonight. I love y'all. Go to church tomorrow. We need it. If you can. God bless.